Sorry, my hand has been up for quite some time. Could I put now that it's been passed, could I put a contra proposal that the name now be called Canine Alliance, simply, and that within the Constitution, all the aims and objectives can be covered. And so I'm looking for a seconder. I am simply looking for
well, it has been voted on and accepted overwhelmingly, I would have said. Can you say it again?
My proposal is that it's simply called the Canine, I've now forgotten, Alliance. And that obviously within the Constitution all the aims and objectives can be covered.
We've just called it Canine Alliance.
Yeah, but
no, there's a strap underneath was voted for. No, the strap underneath was voted for.
Yeah.
It's called Canine Alliance with a strap line.
But I'm suggesting that the strap line is not included. That's what I'm proposing.
Right. So you're proposing Canine Alliance without any strap line.
Yeah.
You propose that. Can I have the seconder?
yes.
Yes, we've got a seconder over there. Can we have a name, please? Can we have your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Arnott Wilson, and I'm in Pointers.
Right. Right. Can we have a vote on that? Those in favour of really dropping responsible for pedigree dogs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those against? Sorry, that's defeated. Right, we now need to talk about establishing a steering committee. Can I have some ideas, please? The gentleman in blue down there, please. And in that, we'd like to know how many you think would be advisable to serve on the steering committee. I suggest it doesn't want to be too big. 12 maximum. 6 sounds fine to me.
Yeah, George William St Bernard's. There's some names been mentioned. Andrew, the gentleman who's the current chair, and the gentleman sitting beside him, who I can't remember your name, but Michael. Sorry.
We can't remember his name either.
And Howard. Four, I think, as a managing steering committee would be absolutely excellent. However, I did make a point to Andrew, and I think that because the Kennel Club has singled out 15 of the breeds, one of which is ours, I do think that in a more general capacity, there should be a representative from each of those breeds. It's just my thought, that's all.
George did actually, yeah, we'll come to you now, Mr. O'Connor. George did mention this to me before, and I know that the perceived victimization of 15 breeds is what's brought this meeting together tonight. There's no denying that. However, I think the whole motivation of this group here tonight is actually to assume that from here on in, all breeds are equal. And the problem I envisage, if you say we're going to have representation on the steering committee of 15 breeds, plus somebody legal, plus somebody, it's going to get unwieldy. I think we need to assume that from here on in, this 15 targeted, victimized breeds is going to finish. And that is our main objective. And I think the more you draw attention to the fact that we've got a Bordeaux rep and a St Bernard rep and whatever, the more you're drawing attention to the fact that we are accepting there are 15 victimized breeds. We don't accept that. From now on, all breeds are equal and should be treated equal.
Before we move on to suggestions of names for the committee, can we agree a number? It has been suggested 5, 6, 7. Seven seems to be a number acceptable to a lot of people. Can I have, unless anybody's got a violent objection to that, the lady in black.
Volvo Cars did some considerable work in terms of working groups and numbers, and 8 is an ideal number.
Okay.
And 8 works particularly well because it covers for absentees and it covers for flexibility within a group.
Okay.
Okay, that's 1 for 8. There's a gentleman at the back who'd like to have a word.
Robert Harlow, Allmark Australian Shepherds. First, you have to declare an interest, and I'm a Kennel Club member. I'm very sorry. At this point, having sat on quite a few Kennel Club subcommittees, and I currently sit on council and steering groups within the Kennel Club, I would suggest that whatever representation goes forward, it is very small. You could have a steering committee which may be 8, 9, 10, 15, whichever you like, but your representation should be small, only 1 or 2 people, because you're going to get a lot further, a lot quicker. Also, I would respectfully say that this is a much bigger issue than what just happened at Crufts. 15 dogs today, or 15 breeds, should I say, is one thing, but this group going forward into the future is going to have to deal with far more than what we've currently just been confronted with. And it's not necessarily going to come from the Kennel Club, to be perfectly honest. Although the Kennel Club has been banded as the baddie here tonight, there are other factions out there right at this moment that are lobbying government to become the controlling and inspectorate for boarding and breeding establishments in this country. They are lobbying the government to have the licensing of all dogs in this country, and they're certainly not the Kennel Club. With my professional hat on, which is outside of show dogs, I run a rather large establishment dealing with unwanted animals. We have several establishments. It angers me terribly when I've seen the things on television about pedigree dogs exposed, because if you are going to judge a problem by what is happening, certainly the rescue centres, and I'm not talking about the breed rescue centres, I'm talking about the big ones, Dogs Home Battersea. My own centre deals with 12,500 dogs a year. Of those 12,500 dogs a year that we see, the percentage of those dogs which are pedigree is minute. Okay, we're talking less than 200 dogs that are pedigrees. They're all crossbreeds, mongrels, staffy crosses, pit bulls, all of that sort of thing. So this group that we are going to put forward, and I sincerely hope that breeders, exhibitors, judges throughout the UK do form a group to represent themselves, and I sincerely hope that we put forward people that actually have knowledge and experience, not just of this subject, but other subjects as well, because they are sure as hell going to be needed. Because what's happening out there right now makes this look like a walk in the park.
Thank you very much. Is a lady there?
Could I suggest that my original proposal stands, that we have Andrew, who is respected all over the world. We have Mike, who is an exhibitor as well as a breeder. And we also have Howard, who would make up the legal part of it. And those 3 could go through and represent all of us at the present moment.
Well, we need a bigger steering committee than 3.
Those 3 should be the basis.
A number, we need to vote on the number.
Right, I think, you know, we
may I introduce, please? The name is Caroline Robinson. Hello, at the back. Caroline Robinson. I breed show judge, and my company's PR. What I suggest was there was a great spokesman on the PR side down here that maybe could work on the PR. And I also propose Liz Stannard, who is the most senior member here, to most definitely be on the steering committee.
We are jumping ahead. We need a number first before we decide on people.
6.
So we have now a proposal for, we've had proposals for 7, 8 and 9. So we'll take 7 first of all. All those in favour for 7? Not really, actually. I wouldn't have thought so. That's carried, I think. Those against, please. Against 7. 1, 2, 3. No. 8. I don't think we need a proposer and seconder on this. It's just a number that, which will be written into the, well, if we have rules to start with. There's a long way to go there yet. Oh yes, we can always co-opt if we want to take somebody else on. Absolutely.
Okay. It would appear, and a lot of experienced people have expressed the view that 7 is an ideal starting number. Now, let's just take this steadily. First of all, we will need to examine exactly what kind of an organisation we're forming. We need to look very carefully at possible constitutions, whether or not there's a possibility that this could be a registered charity, who knows. There are all sorts of things to be explored. And the steering committee, for want of a better word, of 7 people, will be in a position to do that. I take fully on board what Gail has said, that obviously the steering committee would be empowered to co-opt as and when, because when this group moves forward, as Mr. Harlow mentioned earlier, there are going to be a hell of a lot of things to deal with, and we may need to co-opt, or the steering committee, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. The steering committee will need to possibly co-opt experts in particular fields. So it's been voted that we have a steering committee of
at the present time, that is something. The steering committee is going to set up what is going to be the alliance. And so I think a lot of work to go into looking at the rules and regulations and getting the steering committee to agree to those and getting that forward, and then letting members as such, I mean they're not members at the moment, letting people sit and seeing if they're happy with it, whether we then decide to take on a full-time, not full-time secretary, but an honorary secretary, or whether we do as we're doing this evening. That is, you know, can be discussed within the steering committee, I would suggest. And the same as chairman, etc. You know, it will develop, I would hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I make a suggestion? We've all put money into the kitty tonight, all varying amounts. Could I suggest that we say, I don't know how much we all put in, one assumes we put £10 each in or more. Could we say that £10 of the money we put in is the membership and the rest is a donation? Or a fighting fund, call it what you want. We also will need a treasurer.
I think that the steering committee in its meetings should be empowered to appoint its own chairperson and indeed a secretary. And there is an appointment Mrs. McMurray's made, is that you can't have a treasurer because you can't open a bank account at this point in time because it's not a formally constituted club. So 7 being an unequal number would be an ideal number, and I think 3 of the gentlemen standing there are ideal candidates, Mrs. Stannard, Howard, and possibly another couple of senior judges. I think would be ideal to represent us at that level.
Okay, George, before we start flinging names around, as I said, the organisation, the Alliance, needs to be set up in whatever form your steering committee feels is advantageous. As far as the bank account is concerned, although we haven't immediately or previously opened a bank account specifically for this meeting, in view of the response and the insistence of so many people who couldn't get here wanting to send cheques, there is actually a dormant bank account in Ashford that has been used explicitly for that purpose, and all cheques have been made out to that bank account name. It's no secret, it's Nimana, N-I-M-A-N-A, which was actually, as a lot of you will know, was the late Kerry Williamson's kennel affix. That bank account was basically there empty. So any cheques that have come to us have been made payable to Nimana and will be in that bank account. Obviously, now that we have a title, things need to be formalised. And I take George's point, and that is that the steering committee should be empowered to elect its chairman and secretary or whatever. So Mike's looking at me wistfully.
I was looking at Jason.
Sorry, Anne.
How sweet. He's still looking at Jason. Bless. Bless.
The gentleman there would like to have a word.
Yes, Chairman, we need to make progress. What we want is a steering committee. They can sort out all these details. We can't do it here tonight. They can, if we have, say, 7 people and the power to co-op some more if needed in particular areas of expertise, they can then decide all these details. They're already getting on with it, as Andrew's explained, with the donations and so on. Let's put people on. If there's more than 7 that would like to go on or whatever, we'll have to take a vote. But let's do it, because we need to make progress.
Yes. Gentleman there.
Just to confirm what the last speaker has said, the steering committee will come back to us for us to adopt whatever constitution they've come up with, so we don't need to worry ourselves tonight on the nitty-gritty and the details. The steering committee will do that. They'll come back with their suggestions, and we'll adopt it or otherwise at a further meeting.
Correct.
I meant, actually, when I was spouting off earlier to pick up on Gail's, was it you that mentioned a bit about the membership thing? This is something that we discussed previously, but it would obviously need this meeting to endorse. When we were chatting casually earlier this morning in readiness for this evening's meeting, it was suggested that regardless of the amount of the donation made this evening, that everyone who has attended the meeting this evening would automatically be given a year's membership, whether you've paid £1 or £50. And I'm going to ask, because a lot of what's gone on tonight has been down to dedication and intent, and the fact that people have actually made the effort to turn up and support. That's the important thing, not how much they put in the kitty. And Mr. Parsons.
Thank you. Simon Parsons. Can I also suggest that everybody who has donated money who is unable to be here also gets a year's membership?
Good idea, Simon. I'm sure that will be addressed. Just for your information, I mentioned to you earlier on that we'd established a PayPal account in the name of Exhibitors' Choice and Voice. I'm not quite sure whether Mr. Bailey's got the current total, but I said we were well into 4 figures this morning. Tonight, there are 320 people in this room. So intent are you that we should actually do something positive. Tonight, you have donated £4,570. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart on behalf of pedigree dogs in this country. So we have, we've got £6,000 to start with, to start getting on and actually doing something. So I'm now going to pass you back to the chairman, and we'll discuss nominations for the steering committee.
So far, we have had 5 nominations. Andrew, Mike, myself, Jason, Tony Taylor, the PR man, and Howard Ogden, and Liz Stannard.
I think we have to ask Liz very seriously whether she can usually hear me. Usually say I shout enough. You all know in this room how passionately I feel, not only about my own breed, but about this meeting. But I am on 2 Kennel Club committees. That's why I said at the beginning, I am the most high-profile Kennel Club person in this room. Now, if I went onto this, I would first of all be asked by the Kennel Club that did I not think I had a conflict of interest? And I would have to be honest and say yes, wouldn't I? That is an idea, but I have a term of office to fill, which doesn't finish until the end of this year. And I personally feel I could do as much, if not more, sitting where I am now on the 2 Kennel Club committees than being here. So I don't want anybody to walk away from here and say, well, she talked a lot, but she didn't actually do anything, did she? Those are my reasons, and I would prefer to stick to the way I am at the moment. But I will help in any way possible.
Thank you, Liz. There's a lady over there with the green leather jacket. I'd like to have a word.
I'd like to propose Di Johnson.
Microphone. Give him the mic.
There's a lady at the back.
Thank you, I'm very flattered. I can't even work my mobile. I don't have email and whatever it's called, Facebook, so I'd be hopeless. But thank you for thinking of me.
The lady at the back.
I'd like to propose Mr. Robert Harlow, since he knows the other side of our story that we're fighting for.
Gentlemen.
If you'll accept, I'd like to nominate Jeffrey Davis.
Jeffrey Davis.
I intend to enjoy it for a long time and comment from the sidelines. But thank you so much.
Pauline Locke, Chow Chows. I'd like to nominate Stuart Mallard.
Who's that? Rachel. Robert
I don't want to boast, but I'm also extremely busy. But I would accept.
There's a lady over there.
We need a lady. A real lady.
Stop it, you've got enough words as it is. Quiet, please.
I would like to. Oh gosh, I would like to propose Phil Freer for the committee. I think he brings so many qualities, not just showing successful health liaison. I think with his wide experience, he's exactly the sort of person you need.
Was Mr. Freer happy to accept that nomination? You were. Thank you. A lady at the back.
I'd like to propose Stephen Hall because he is secretary of a championship dog show. I'd like to propose him.
Steve, are you happy to be put forward? Yeah. Madam.
May I just suggest that we have ladies on the committee as well, because we've got all men at the moment.
Yes. Well, can we have a proposal for a lady then? Right.
Why do we need a lady? If it's the right person for the job, it's the right person for the job.
Here. There's a lady at the back there who would like to...
Can I propose Lisa Croft-Elliott, please? Because I've seen her at a few shows and she's a good laugh, and I think she would be quite good. And she's American, and they do good food and burgers. So that's all I can say.
Stuart, I gather you've got a proposal.
I was going to propose Joy Bradley.
Right, I think we need to do a vote now. We've got plenty of names.
Could I make a proposal, please? Could I propose Susan Whitehead to come on the committee?
Thank you. We have a proposal for Sigurd. Sigurd, are you happy to? Yeah.
Hello?
Sorry?
Right.
Can I propose Diana Spavin, please?
Who?
Diana Spavin, please.
Okay, now hang on, guys, because we need to get on track here. It's just been. That's what I'm just about. That's just what I was going to say. God, honestly, I've got to watch that, Marina. What I was about to say before I was so attractively interrupted is that I would ask the individual candidates to take the microphone and just say a few words about themselves and what they feel they could bring to the steering group. And I'll start off with Mr. Gadsby.
Why not you, Andrew? I don't really know what to say. I mean, I think most people in here know me. To say that I'm passionate about dogs is probably an understatement. And I just want to do something good for pedigree dogs and people who show dogs. That's about it. Thanks.
I'm Andrew Brace. In recent years, it's not very often Mr. Gadsby fight, but I will fight him on this one. There is not one person in this room who is more passionate about this sport than me. I love it, I eat it, I breathe it. Dogs and dog people are my life. When I believe in things, I am reckless. I know I can be foolhardy, but I am also fearless and totally dedicated to this cause. That's me.
I have been nominated. I'm not sure really whether I want to stand. I think I don't mind being co-opted, but as the chairman of the National, I feel I ought to be independent. I'm trying to be independent this evening, and that's why I haven't voiced any opinions whatsoever. As I say, I'm happy to be there if I'm needed and be co-opted on if needed, but I think, you know, you can run very well without me.
Well, that's very noble of you, Martin. And at this juncture, we have to remember that we don't actually have a constitution as such. Mr. Ogden can tell me if I'm wrong. Whilst we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've actually got 14 names in at the moment with a steering committee agreed of 7. As I understand it, it is actually possible at this stage of the proceedings for a steering committee to be voted in that can with immediate effect co-opt. That's if the meeting is in favour of that. Anyhow, meanwhile, next we'll go to Sigurd Wilberg. And you're not allowed to bribe them with pizzas.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I tell you a secret. I'm in the Domino's pizza world. And when we launch a new product, we 750 shops in this country, then we pick out 12 shops, and we launch a new product for 2 months to see whether people like it or not. The Ken Club wasn't that smart, you know. They should for sure have done something and tested this system before they come into it. Except from that, like, most of you probably know me as well. I judged a few breeds. I win a few certificates here and there. And then I was forced to resign as a member of the Ken Club 25 years ago because I said something that I didn't like. So if you want to have somebody on this committee who is not in love with the English Ken Club, vote for me. Thank you.
Only Sigurd Wilberg could do a sell like that and still get a bloody advert in. Stuart, Diana.
Hi, I'm Diana Spavin. I've been in dogs since
well, my mother was first in dogs. I give tickets in quite a lot of breeds and I do best in show. But mainly I want to join this because I've had a lot out of dogs and now it's time for me to put something back into it. So...
Okay, Tony. Can somebody take the microphone down to Tony, our PR man?
Thank you. I'm Tony Taylor. I'm not sure I called myself a PR man. I did do a dabble in PR at one point and done a lot of work in recruitment and recruitment advertising. I'm currently secretary of Level Playing Field, which is a charity representing about 30,000 disabled people. I've been involved with setting up and running industrial and providence societies and various things, which is possibly an idea of the way forward in form of openness and transparency for this organisation. And I give tickets in clumbers. I love my clumbers. I was brought up with bulldogs and I've got a basset, so I think I know some of the breeds.
That's certainly a holy trinity there, Tony. Right, I'm sure not that he needs to tell us anything about himself, but where's Howard Ogden? Lurking, he's lurking.
My name is Howard. I'm an alcoholic. The reason I've put my head over the parapet over this last weekend is two aspects. One, I object to the us and them attitude. In that interview I referred to, the Kennel Club secretary actually used the phrase, which I had to go back to check because it was just so unbelievable, about the use of a cosh. Those were her words, that the use of a cosh was a description of the vet checks. And it was all about us and them. So that's the first reason. The second is I can't stand unfairness. And it's really as simple as that. Things should be fair. And if things are fair, then we can move forward, and we've got to move forward together.
Right, can someone get a microphone to Robert Harlow, please?
The reason I'd like to stand is not for my dog side, I have to be perfectly honest. Although I show and I judge and I breed, and I was judging at Crufts last weekend on the working side, my professional side of being a professional lobbyist involved within government steering committees, and because I've worked very closely with the Kennel Club on many committees over the last 15 years, I feel that I could add that skill level to what this group, I feel, needs. And although I've got a huge dog background that goes back to the turn of the last century, and my grandparents, etc., all showing dogs, that's not what I want to bring to this at all. I want to bring my professional ability to it, which I think is what it needs.
I think Lisa Croft is in that area, isn't she? Nominated because she's a good time girl.
I think what I bring is the baseline, the grassroots breeder, exhibitor, person who knows that my dogs would fight for me, so why the hell shouldn't I fight for them? This is not my hobby, this is my passion. I've lived this my entire life, and I'll be damned if people sitting behind the desk think that I should behave in a certain fashion. Give us the credit for knowing and for caring and want to do right by our creatures.
Stuart Mallard, somebody get a microphone to Stuart. I think the other Stuart's over there.
Right, Stuart, I can tell you now that I'm desperately passionate about the dog world. I always have. I've been around since the 80s. I'm also passionate about wildlife. But what I'm really passionate about is fairness. I'm really fed up with the divide. We are being treated like idiots. So I really want to see things be united and a real, not a fight, but we need common sense and fairness. That's what I stand for.
Stevie Hall.
My name's Stephen Hall, and I run the Blackpool Championship Show, and I'd like to bring to the table the other end of the spectrum where we have got to deal with all this. We deal with all this rubbish, if you want to call it, and I absolutely hate injustices. I can't cope with injustices, and I'm like Andrew, I'm fearless. Make no bones about it.
Thank you, Stevie. Phil Freer, someone got a mic near Phil? I think so.
Hi, can you hear me? Phil Freer, I've been involved in dogs for about 30 years. My main breed are Bassets. I do show other breeds as well. I've been on committees for over 20 years, holding different positions, chairman and such like. Bottom line is we do really need change, and I think we've got a good leading team there, and if I can do anything to help them and to move this forward, because we are passionate about pedigree dogs.
And Sue Whitehead's over there somewhere, aren't you, Sue? Yep.
My CV is going to sound about the most inadequate of the whole lot of them. I don't serve on committees, but I do love dogs. I have shown Tibetan Terriers for 30 years, and I do judge them. I believe that people deserve a fair crack of the whip. I also like people to put a point of view over clearly and succinctly so that those you're talking to darn well listen.
And finally, Joy Bradley. I think that's Stuart's corner.
Oh my gosh. I can't give you a great long CV. I can tell you I've been involved with dogs for all of my adult life. I am so passionate, I get angry and I cry. I'm not frightened to hold my head and say my name, and I guess my greatest asset is I'm gobby.
Thank you very much. Now, there's 13 very worthy candidates, I think. We really could do with a 5-minute comfort break before we vote. There's so many people, including the chairman, trying to cross his legs. It's just not true. So if you don't mind, just 5 minutes, and then we can vote in comfort. Thank you very much.